We still setting up over here. Looking good, looking good. All right. Get this rocking and rolling here. All right, connected. Everything looks good. All right, we can go ahead. We can start this. All right. I don't have to check anything. I just got to play the ads. And we got us our show, man. So if you want to go grab a quick drink real quick, now is the time to do it. Because we starting the show right now. Let's do it.
Pent-up demand for travel is at an all-time high. There is an opportunity to make tons of money working from home in the travel industry, which includes sports and entertainment. You can supplement or even replace your income right now. Join facebook.com/groups/travel sports entertainment to learn more. Join the group right now to find out more. It's lucrative, it's fun, it's travel, the largest, sexiest industry in the world, and it's going to boom. Go ahead of the wave right now and join the group today. Learn more over at facebook.com/groups/travel sports entertainment. One more time, facebook.com/groups/travel sports entertainment. The Coot TV. Watching TV has never been easier when you have the Coot TV on your side. It has so many options, and the best part about the Coot TV is you get to pay less and get much more. Check out the Coot spelled KUTT-TV.com. The Coot-TV.com. The Coot is available for free on Android, iOS, Amazon Fire TV, computers, and laptops. Watch amazing movies and TV shows for a small monthly fee. No contract and no credit checks. Watch anywhere you go. Try the Coot as they offer a 3-day trial right now. Just download and start streaming today. Head on over there right now. The Coot-TV.com. One more time, the Coot-TV.com.
Warning, the RCWR show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Yeah, Monday night, October 19th, 2020. What's going on? Lee Sanders here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. This is the RCWR show, a couple of minutes removed from an all-new Monday Night Raw on the USA Network, as this was their go-home edition to their Hell in a Cell pay-per-view that's going to be coming up this Sunday. What a busy week as far as pro wrestling goes. This week that we're in right now, loads of wrestling content is coming our way. And for those of you that maybe want to check out a different alternative to WWE as far as pay-per-views go, Impact Wrestling presents their Bound for Glory pay-per-view event. That's going to be happening this weekend as well, but luckily, it's not going to be competing head-to-head with the WWE. We'll talk more about those respective cards later on in the show. Preview and predictions, special double dose of our Call That Match edition of the RCWR show. And we got loads more that we're going to be talking about here for the next little bit that we're live on the air. We're streaming live on multiple platforms. We got the YouTube. We've got the Twitter/Periscope. We've got the Facebook. So take your pick. Did I mention YouTube? I believe I mentioned YouTube already. So take your pick. We're live for the next little bit. Hop in, say hello, throw a little friendly wave our way. Appreciate it as always. So, the season premiere of Raw. Other than the entrance, I don't know if you guys watch Raw, but for those of you that are tuning in and, you know, you didn't record it on your DVR or anything like that, I gotta say the new theme for Raw kicks major ass. And shout out to the couple of you that was trying to give me some info online, I had asked, hey, who is that that's performing the new theme? That is pretty kick-ass. They went in with a rap beat joint. I'm going, oh, okay, this is quite surprising, because I gotta be honest with you. You know, I remember when Raw made its debut, and I can just picture in my head all the different themes that we've gotten over the years. And if you were to ask me straight up, which was my least favorite Raw theme, the last one. The last one was not my favorite. I could have done without it. I don't know what it was, but there was just something about it I didn't care for. It sounded, honestly, to me, a bit too generic. It sounded a bit too bubblegumish, too popish for me. I mean, to each its own, but for me, it didn't really do anything for me. It didn't wow me up. It didn't have me get all excited and everything like that. Even that freaking weak-ass Nickelback little joint that they had some years back, I thought that was better than the last theme. So for them to go in with this new rap theme, I thought it was pretty badass. And shout out to Austin via Twitter. He said that is from at NF Real Music. And shout out to him. I did double check, make sure that was accurate. And it was like, yeah, it is accurate. That was a really cool kick-ass theme song. And it also had me reminisce as I was checking out this intro and everything. I didn't even think we were going to be getting a new opening and a new song. So silly me. I should have known better with the whole season premiere and all that, but it just didn't click in my head for some respected reason. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys were thinking, okay, season premiere, obviously we're getting a new intro as far as the opening credit video and all that stuff, but we're also going to get a new song. I don't know if you guys were thinking that same way as well. Now, the information had leaked some days before we saw what we saw tonight. I did not even see that news. So shout out to those of you that were also kind of a little bit in the dark as well, in a pleasant way, when you saw what you had saw for tonight. But for those of you that are interested, the name of that theme, let me just go on Austin's timeline real quick. The name of that song is called The Search. Again, the name of that song is called The Search, and it is from NF. So check it out when you guys get a chance. Apparently, the album is really great as well, according to Austin. So I'm definitely going to be checking it out when I get a free moment, and I'll definitely let you guys know what I think about that album. I'm always down for discovering new content. I don't know about you guys, but music and all that, I'm totally down. Of course, I'm a sucker for the old school stuff. I'm hyped right now on Cloud 9 because new AC/DC is on the horizon. You got me ringing house bells. Yeah, I'm so pumped for that and everything. So this is probably going to be their final album because, as we all know, Brian Johnson, he's been having those hearing problems. He's been suffering a lot over the past couple of years now. So the fact that they were able to do this with the surviving members, great send-off as far as I'm concerned. If this is going to be it, hey, I can just tell. I got this feeling it's going to be a magnificent album. I think it's going to be a really cool special album. But, you know, getting aside, putting that theme to the side for Raw, you know, you're all excited and everything, then you go right into it. I got to say, the first 20 to 30 minutes of Raw, I'm right there. I'm at the edge of my seat. I'm excited. Seeing the opening segment there with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, with Alexa Bliss announcing to the world they're there. They have arrived on Raw. And then you see Retribution come out immediately. You're going, wait a minute, what's going on here? Is there some type of union that we don't know about between The Fiend and Retribution? What exactly is going on here? Retribution now has their own music? That was kind of interesting there. I was so used to them being this whole anti blah, 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 yakety smackety. They just show up. You know, I thought that was, I know Retribution has not been well received. I do have my own respected issues with Retribution, particularly the angle and everything.
But I think we all could be in agreement if there was one thing that was, you know what, at least they're doing that right with Retribution. The one thing of a few things that they were doing right with Retribution is whenever these guys decided they wanted to show up, cause havoc and chaos, roll the hell out, you didn't see it coming, and you damn sure didn't hear it coming, because these guys just freaking popped up when they felt like it. Your one warning was the flickering of the lights. That was pretty much your warning that, oh, some shit about to go down. I need to get out of here ASAP. But now we have a theme music for them. So you can really now, you can really now almost kind of prepare and escape, and hopefully you won't be getting a beat down by these guys. So to each its own, but over the years, I don't know, maybe you could just say it's old man's age catching up to me and everything, or maybe it's just all the stuff I've seen in wrestling from over the decades. But I've gotten to that point now where, well, it's not exactly an ambush. It's not exactly a run-in. It's not exactly a surprise if right before said wrestler or said stable gets ready to come out, hey, cue up my music. I'm starting to have a pet peeve for that. And that was the one saving grace that I could go with for Retribution, which was at least Retribution did not have theme music. The flickering lights was fine, but they didn't have theme music. Now they got theme music, so you're kind of, oh. All right, that's another thing that they kind of fucked up there. But yeah, it was nice seeing all of those guys intertwine and all that. I was digging that. That was cool and everything. Then the Hurt Business getting involved. I mean, all of these combustible elements just at the same juncture. I loved it. I loved it. And then you're going, wow, we're seeing some somewhat unlikely alliances here that's going on between The Fiend and the Hurt Business, because they essentially have a common enemy, so to speak, in Retribution. Oh, okay. This is kind of cool. Look, Mustafa Ali as the leader of Retribution, I know it's kind of rubbing people the wrong way right now. It's still early. It's still early. We need to give this the time that it needs to cook. I have been a fan of Mustafa Ali, not to the point that I was running around saying, future world heavyweight champion, for sure. Nothing of that nature, but I am a fan of him. But if there was one thing that left me scratching my head a lot about Mustafa over the years is, okay, well, as great and talented as this young man is, can we do something constructive with this guy? Do we have some type of a game plan for this guy? The promos in the past weren't really, but I still wanted to see this guy be utilized properly. I wanted to see him get some type of good content that we as fans could kind of get behind a bit. So for me to have an eyebrow raised at the fact that he is the leader behind Retribution, he's the one that pretty much orchestrated everything. Yeah, okay. I could think of other people that would be so perfect for this. CM Punk, or hell, under different circumstances, and if his spirit did not get broken by the WWE under different circumstances, I could even picture Muhammad Hassan as the leader of Retribution. You want to talk about somebody that was given broken promises. You want to talk about somebody that had a lot of promise in their career and was cut. So, how badass would that be if you just really stop and think about it? Everybody's going the CM Punk route and everything as far as the leader behind Retribution, but just how badass would it have been? Obviously, that is just thread upon thread upon thread of storytelling that WWE writers would have to do in order to get the fans caught up to speed on Muhammad Hassan and everything. But just how badass would that have been if it would have turned out the leader behind Retribution was none other than Muhammad Hassan?
just food for thought right there. I mean, I'm sure you guys can just take that. I don't need to expand upon that thought even more. You guys can just take that. Damn, Lee, that's some deep, heavy shit right there. And just run with the motherfucker, right? But, hell, you could even, to a degree, slide in Jinder Mahal. You could even, to a degree, slide in Jinder Mahal as the leader of Retribution. But, okay, we're dealing with Mustafa Ali. It is what it is. My eyebrow is raised. I'm curious. Obviously, what you had before you put in Mustafa was really lacking. So, we've added this little layer to it. Obviously, WWE is paying attention to what fans are saying on social media with regards to, but wasn't he doing the cyber stalking thing? Wasn't he doing that bootleg GTV stuff? What's going on here? It was nice that they finally had Mustafa address that. That was kind of witty the way that they did it. It did not feel forced either. It did not feel as though something had to be explained just for the hell of it. It was great to see them connect the dots for the fans, because not everybody is going to be remembering that period where, oh yeah, there was something creepy going on. Somebody was hacking into computers and all that other stuff. So it was great that they did that nod there for Mustafa. Here's the thing though, and I hope that WWE does not go in this respected direction, but WWE, yeah, you acknowledge that, but please don't get the impression now that you've acknowledged that, you can just now put that in your rearview mirror and you can just go forward with, no, I think if anything, you put yourselves in a good opportunity here now that you put it out there on a silver platter that he was the guy behind the webcams and all that other creepy shit, GTV as I keep calling it. Now that you've revealed that, now more than ever, you should be having him. I mean, after all, think about the promo. For those of you that watch Raw tonight, think about the promo that Ali cut, basically saying during the period there where he was just furious, wondering, what the hell is going on with the powers that be, because they don't know what the hell to do with him. And he's going frustrated, and he's keeping tabs on what everybody is doing on the roster and everything. He learned secrets. He learned how people keep stabbing each other in the back and everything. Okay, so if you learned all these things, but most importantly, you learned some secrets about folks because you were essentially spying on them. Okay, well, don't you think now more than ever, now that you're especially in this position where you got Retribution behind you and everything, you should be exposing some of these secrets? You should be exposing some of these wrestlers? I think it would be an interesting dynamic right there. I mean, if I were to really just expand upon this thought, I don't want to spend 10 minutes into it, but I think you guys see where I'm going with this. There's a lot of potential here to really try and rebuild what was really hurting with Retribution before Ali got put in here and everything. They've got an opportunity here where if they wanted to ruffle the feathers in storyline of some of the talents, the new talents that are now part of the Raw roster, they can essentially do that now with this nice backdrop that they laid out with Ali tonight. They can do that. You could even go in a direction of blackmail, so to speak, to get people that would not honestly have anything to do with Retribution under the circumstances, because Ali's got dirt on them. They have to do the bidding. So they're in a really good position right here. I really hope that the writers and upper management, I really hope they consider what they laid out tonight and don't just let it be a one and done deal. I really hope they consider, no, you know what? We might have something here. Let's kind of poke with this a little bit more and see what we can do with this. But seeing that whole orgy of Hurt Business mixed in with The Fiend And Alexa, evil Alexa, got her whole evil Harley Quinn, you know, now she's got me in this whole Injustice 2, like when I'm seeing what she's doing there with Bray Wyatt and everything now. But seeing Retribution, Bray Wyatt, Bliss, Hurt Business, just seeing all of that was pretty good. For your first 30 minutes, that was great. Love that. Great having the Firefly Funhouse segment back as well. Once again, Ramblin' Rabbit, rest in peace. Somehow this guy always meets his demise, untimely demise at that. It's freaking hilarious. I was wondering if Bliss was somehow going to be a part of the Firefly Funhouse, and indeed she was. That was rather cool how they had her come in there. I would have preferred it if honestly they would have had her come in as just a totally revamped character. And what I mean by that is I would have preferred it if they would have had her come in with some type of sugar is sweet, sugar is nice, put it on everything, it makes everything feel all right. I would have liked it if they would have had her come in. Basically, in a nutshell, to sum it up, I don't know how many of you guys watch Impact Wrestling. Hopefully, if you've been a long-time listener of my show, you know I be doing Impact Showdown covering Impact Wrestling. And you know how much I have been putting over the Impact brand within recent months. Hopefully that's got you all respectfully checking out Impact again. But if they would somehow kind of do like a Su Yung / Susie, and they kind of are with Alexa, but it's not full blown. So I wish that, and maybe that's something that we will see in the coming weeks. But I would like to see that be flushed out more from Alexa, particularly when she's joining Bray on these Firefly Funhouse segments. You know, and then next time we see her when she's with The Fiend, you know, the personality that we've been seeing with her and all that thus far, we could pretty much go there. By the way, I think it's kind of funny, unless I missed it, I think it's kind of funny that ever since Nikki Cross was drafted over to Monday Night Raw, if I remember it right, if I'm incorrect, let me know, we've yet to see Nikki Cross hunt down
Lexi, what are you doing? Lexi. Oh, Lexi, what you doing is so wrong. It's so evil. Oh, Lexi.
We've yet to see that. So I don't know what's going on with that. One thing that left me scratching my head tonight, by the way, WWE, kudos to that Asuka Lana match. Why that match even lasted as long as it did is beyond me. It should have been over a lot sooner than the match actually went. I was a little bit surprised at that. I was surprised at the fact that they actually tried to book this match in fashion of Lana getting in a little bit of offense. I'm like, come on now. It's like we're gonna go from Zelina Vega to, you know, it's almost like God, I hate to use this analogy, but it's almost kind of like, okay, so we're gonna go from an Xbox X to an Xbox 360 to the very first Xbox. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. Now, some of y'all may say, well, wait a minute now. There's some good stuff that came out for some of those consoles. And I'll say, touche, pussycat, touche. But you get the point that I'm making. Yeah, that match had no business going as long as it was going to go. Okay, so apparently Nia Jax wants a piece of that Raw Women's Championship. Apparently she's gunning for it. That's kind of, I need more clarification what's going on there. Because if I remember the story arc correctly, when Shayna and Nia first hooked up, I believe it was Nia that said something along the lines of, look, we would make a pretty good formidable team. Let's go for those tag titles. I think maybe it was Shayna that proposed that idea, and Nia said, look, I'll do this on one condition, and that's, once we do this, we squash all this, you and me, our beef, it's done, but you help me go after the women's championship. I believe I remember it right. If I'm a little foggy on that one, a little bit inaccurate, let me know, but I believe I'm remembering that right. So it looks as though Nia Jax, Asuka are going to be locking it up. I don't have a problem with that. I honestly don't have a problem with that. Bring it on. Should actually be pretty good. I just hope that Nia can just stay healthy. That's my only concern right now. That is my legit only concern right now. Knock on wood. From a physical standpoint, I just don't want anything weird to happen to her, because remember, she had those surgeries not long ago and everything. So I think what's going on with them doing what they're doing down at the Performance Center, and they're taping their stuff, and they're not out there on the road every single other day or whatever the hell it was that was going on with that original schedule before COVID had hit. I think it's helping a lot of those guys. But yeah, some of the action, AJ Styles taking on Matt Riddle. Okay matchup here. I was happy that these guys went about almost 15 minutes. I'll give them that. Shane McMahon's bodyguard, though. Shane McMahon's bodyguard is now in the corner of AJ Styles. I need to understand, how did this come to be? Because I'm a little bit confused right there. See, now I think it's safe to say Raw Underground is no more. Raw Underground is no more. And I can't help but just go, okay, so what happened? Was it our feedback that we were providing online that was kind of, hey, honestly, we can really do without this. We're honestly good. What's the name of that bouncer anyway? I'm looking at my notes here. I'm trying to see if I can pull up his name real quick for you guys here. And it's so funny too, because every time I saw him, I just called him the big guy. It's the big guy. Usually wore all black, was hanging out by the door. They actually gave him a name, and I sadly did not catch the graphic with his name. I don't know, what is he? Okeem Olajuwon? I don't know what the fuck his name is, but I guess Raw Underground is no more. I mean, we have not seen it in weeks. I think it's almost been a month now, and there's no Raw Underground. So probably the two. Give me a second. We got a little baby gnat flying around here, and if I can get it, damn, I think I got it. I don't know, but you take that guy, and you take the other dude. Oh God, I can't think of the other guy's name now. See, I need you guys' help. They took the security guy, and they took the light-skinned guy that kind of looked like the lead singer from Counting Crows. Just, this guy's been working out. He's been lifting weights and all that. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So they take those guys, and they pretty much are now part of the Raw roster. Okay, cool. Honestly, I see much more stock. I see much more of an investment in Shane's former bodyguard. That could change in due time, but I see just a very promising, it's early. I know it's early, but I like the potential. I like the potential of him, but I'm more curious to know what the hell is the connection between AJ and his former bodyguard. I'm very, very curious, but I'm loving it. It's definitely giving me flashbacks of not Shane, but Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash, Diesel. It's definitely giving me the Shawn Michaels Psycho Sid vibe. I love that. So
I can't wait to see how that particular story plays out in the coming weeks. How did they come about getting together and all of that? So that's pretty good. Are we looking at the beginning of maybe eventually with this big guy behind AJ Styles? Is it possible we could in the very near future be seeing AJ Styles as a world heavyweight champion again? Story's gonna have to just play itself out as we wait. But good match between AJ Styles, Matt Riddle there. Let's see, what else? I'm not going full blown with the Raw results. I'm just looking up key stuff that I want to talk about. There was a women's tag match that really had me go, what's going on here? And shout out to Lady K. I love interacting with Lady K on Twitter from time to time. We saw all these women come out wanting a shot at the Raw Women's Tag Champions. You got, oh, okay, well, this is nice. Okay, all right, cool. So, your participants for this one, and it wasn't for the titles. We were kind of led to the impression that it was, but it was not for the titles. We had saw Peyton Royce. She teamed up with Lacey Evans. Now, you know, you're seeing this and you can't help but just kind of follow the storyline here that's been playing out within recent weeks. You're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute here. Did we not just see Peyton Royce break up with Billie Kay not even a month ago? And then we get the whole draft thing and they're separated, and yet Billie Kay in storyline, for reasons we don't know anything about just yet, just randomly, Peyton Royce teams up with Lacey Evans. So, yeah, very weird, because what was kind of being pitched to us in the storyline, especially after the team of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay got broken up, was, oh, okay, well, you know, these girls are no more. This team is no more. They both are now going to have to go their separate ways. As I pointed out on this show, when that stipulation that initially went down, well, why the hell would they agree to such a stipulation like that? That doesn't exactly make any sense. And furthermore, okay, well, if they're going to agree to such a stipulation, then what is stopping them from saying, okay, we'll agree to these terms, but you have to agree to these terms if we beat you? So that's where things were really kind of confusing there. But again, as I pointed out way back when, but I mean, this makes no sense to me on so many levels, and it should really highlight for you guys one of the biggest problems that is going on with the current WWE product is when you look at some of your favorite stars, some of your favorite talents. Hell, they don't even have to be your favorite. You can just totally be unbiased and be looking at these guys and go, damn, creative really kind of comes off as if they really don't know what the fuck to do with them, do they? And Peyton Royce tonight for me was just a prime example of writers aren't really sure what the hell to do with her. And it's quite sad. It's quite sad, honestly. Yeah, the match I'm talking about, it was Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler teaming up. They were taking on a team of Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce, Lacey Evans, and the Riot Squad. I'm telling you, I'm really starting to come around. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really starting to come around on Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke as a tag team. I still kind of chuckle a little bit when I think of that joint where Mandy Rose said to, I think it was Charlie that was interviewing her, oh, Dana Brooke has always been there for me during my most difficult times, during my most, darkest days, and, whenever I needed somebody to talk to. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's kind of interesting. So where was Dana Brooke when you were going through that whole feud there with Sonya Deville? But no, putting that to the side, they seem to be clicking very well as a tag team. They're winning me over week by week. I gotta be honest. I'm not gonna front. They're winning me over week by week, I see a little something. I actually see a little something with them. So, but yeah, I'm looking at that women's division just as a whole right now. I mean, you really just kind of stop and take a step back there. You know, it kind of seems as though with the Asuka as Raw Women's Champion and just the recent batch of opponents she's been facing, really comes off as if, well, we kind of really don't know what to do with Asuka right now. And it's, okay. So I'm hoping that with what we saw tonight with her interactions with Nia and Shayna, I hope that eventually, first off, great program, not just with Nia, but I would like to see, because we've seen that competition, that spirit of competition between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I mean, look, let me show you how it's done. Now, you don't do it like that. You do it like this. And they try to show one up on each other. I would eventually like to see, after Nia gets her crack, Shayna coming on in there, taking on Asuka. And, you know, you can pretty much go from there. And hopefully, that'll smooth things out for the next handful of months until... Isn't Charlotte still on Monday Night Raw? If I remember it right, I gotta go back and look at the notes from Draft Night 1 and 2. But assuming Charlotte, or hell, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is now on... Yeah, isn't Sasha Banks now on Monday Night Raw? Isn't she part of the Raw roster? As a matter of fact, I'm doing all this guessing. Let me just go on ahead and look at the Raw draft real quick here. Because my point is, the women that were drafted over to Raw. There we go. There's the results I'm looking for. Let's see. All right, I can tell you guys real quick here. Give me a second here. I'm looking at it right now, courtesy of WWE's website here. Yeah. So basically, what I'm picturing in my head, and I was correct about Charlotte Flair staying basically on Monday Night Raw. So after you have Asuka go through Nia, Shayna, you know, you could eventually slide in there Charlotte Flair. You could eventually, you know, if you want to, you could also slide in Alexa Bliss. I definitely want to give her an honorable mention. You could definitely slide her in there. Hell, if you want, you could throw Nikki Cross in there for sure. You could throw her in there. Let's see. I'm looking at the rest of the card here. Yeah, eventually Naomi. You could do that as well. And that's it. So no Sasha. No Sasha on Monday Night Raw. No Sasha Banks on Monday Night Raw. So she is still pretty much on SmackDown. Okay. So, yeah, but I mean, you got options. That's the point that I'm making, guys. You got options. But let's see. Anything else I should be talking about with regards to Monday Night Raw? Let me know. The Randy Orton spot there, closing out the show with Drew McIntyre, that was pretty good. I wonder if they ran out of time as far as they weren't paying attention or really budgeting time management, because the way it went off was just so spontaneous. It wasn't it? When you stop and think about it. You know, we see Drew McIntyre coming out there, grabbing the lock clippers to cut the lock off the cage so he can get his hands on Randy Orton, and it pretty much just ends with McIntyre now inside the cage, getting ready to slide in there, and it just goes off like that. See, it's reasons like that. I've been saying it for off and on the past couple of weeks, but now why you need to have freaking your post show, Raw Talk, whatever you're calling it, you gotta have that be in effect where you hop on the WWE Network and pretty much the action continues on. It just makes a lot of sense. Let that be exclusive content that folks can only see on the WWE Network and all that. Maybe for folks that don't have the network, you can obviously, hey, this is what happened after Raw went off the air on the USA Network. Share it on the social media platforms, YouTube and all that, so everybody can freaking
check it out. Do a call to action of, hey, you got to go here. I would dare say, rather than be so quick to put it only exclusively on the WWE network, you really put more eyeballs and also think about things from a monetizing standpoint and put it on open social media platforms where everybody can check it out, do the sharing, do the liking, retweeting, and all that good stuff. It's just good. It's just good. Especially when you look at the back analytics, metrics, all that shit. So, yeah, that was just so spontaneous, though. It's like, we got to end this because there's an encore episode of Modern Family we got to get to. I mean, that was so freaking random. Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, seeing those two guys go at it finally. Once again, that was a pretty good match as well. I'll definitely give it up for Sheamus taking on Kofi Kingston. That actually was a good match there. I love the little touch of Big E watching from the crowd. I enjoyed that. I got a suggestion for WWE too with regards to how we had saw throughout the night. Ric Flair was in attendance because he was part of the fan Thunderdome experience. Mark Henry was part of the fan Thunderdome experience. Booker T was part of the fan Thunderdome experience. Rather than the commentators call out, oh, so-and-so is watching, rather than have them do that, they need to borrow a page or two from the NBA. Because what the NBA was doing when they had their games in the bubble, I don't know how many of you guys were watching the NBA, but what they were doing when they had their games in the bubble and fans were able to participate virtually and everything, as the game was going on throughout the period, the cameras would just randomly pan out and they would just show different fans. And if word got to whoever was operating the camera or whatever, oh, hey, I think I saw blah, blah, blah in the house. Okay, can we get a confirmation? Oh, they are in the house? Okay, well, when we get a moment, let's zoom in on them. And then we kind of do it that way. I think they should do that. I think they should do that. I think that would be really cool. I mean, that's great that from a presentation standpoint, you got the fans representing and everything with this whole Thunderdome experience. But ultimately, these fans gush over the fact that, hey, I'm on TV, and they can call their friends and family and say, hey, look, I'm on TV. Check me out right now. Hey, can you see me? So I think it's kind of cool, especially if somebody's wearing a really cool costume and all that. I mean, picture this for a second. And it's kind of sad because this isn't going to happen. But next Monday night, you get a new Raw. And obviously, they're probably going to do something Halloween themed. Wouldn't put it past them. But what's really going to suck is I bet you there's going to be WWE fans that's going to take advantage of the fact that, oh, it's the 28th. So, technically, if I want to dress up, this is the time to do it, and I can try to get on the air. I don't have confidence with the way that they're doing the whole Thunderdome experience right now. You're going to have people that's going to be dressing up for next Monday's Thunderdome, and the cameramen and all that, they're not going to do a solid job, as I'm suggesting that they do, where they're panning out to the crowds and showing you what people are wearing and how they're basically representing and showing their appreciation and their affection for being a WWE fan and for the product. Missing a golden opportunity right there. A golden opportunity right there. You guys feel me? I mean, if they can really just kind of tweak that a lot more, I think the Thunderdome experience would be even cooler. And it's bad enough as it is with regards to that whole Thunderdome experience. It's bad enough as it is that you've got some people, they will just be brought in for one particular match, or they'll just be brought in for maybe, okay, you're here for the next 30 minutes, and then you get the boot out or whatever like that. It kind of sucks the way that they got it set up, but it can be a lot better. That's my whole gripe in a nutshell. It can be a lot better. All they got to do is just take a page from the NBA, and they can pretty much go from there. Sheamus
took on Kofi Kingston. That was a good matchup as well. I definitely want to give a nod to them. That was good. Getting back to Keith Lee, though, taking on the monster among men, Braun Strowman. I love that brawl that they had there. I love that brawl. It was short, though, and I didn't have a problem with it being short. Left with the impression maybe these guys are going to lock it up at Hell in a Cell. I hope that they do go there, because if they do go there, that would be freaking badass. I would be down with that. I love the fact, though, the match, it was short, very short. How short? The match was barely 3 minutes long. Barely 3 minutes long. And Braun Strowman pretty much picked up the W. Did it kind of dirty. Closing moments, he hit the ropes. And he hit the ropes. Didn't see the low blow. Kick to the face, cover. That's it. And freaking, oh my god, that just, I'm stumbling with my words right now, because I'm just visualizing afterwards when Braun Strowman just beat the holy crap out of Lee. You know, low blowed him, dropped him to his knee and all that shit. I just love how Keith Lee came right back around and he just did a fucking low blow to Braun Strowman. And he said to him, "You're the monster among men. Well, I'm the dragon." And pretty much letting him know you just met your match. So obviously these guys, you know, they're not done just yet. If I had one complaint about this match particularly, I would say that it's kind of generic the way that this feud was essentially brought on, because there's really nothing that is, okay, well, let's get to the heart of the matter about why you guys are it's so generic when you really just kind of take a step back and think about how exactly this feud has come along and everything. And at this point, they're kind of trading off wins and losses and everything. So, you know, I would say it's off to a bit of a rocky start. You know, I hope if one good positive thing can come from out of this, I actually hope that eventually these two guys can somehow, very similar to Nia and Shayna, put their differences to the side, form a tag team. And boy, you want to talk about somebody that, yeah, needs to dethrone the Raw Tag Team Champions. No disrespect to New Day. Love New Day. But I need to see things get shaken up in a big way with the tag division on the Raw side of things. And for me, under the right storyline, if it gets pieced together pretty well, Keith Lee and Braun Strowman, two big behemoths, joining forces, dethroning the Raw Tag Champions, getting a nice rub off there from the multi-time tag champs in the New Day. Oh, I'm on to something. But Raw this week, you know, okay. It was okay. It is what it is. It was what it was. Polling results right now. Twitter at the RCWR show, asking you guys, what did you think about tonight's Monday Night Raw? Also got the same poll on YouTube as well. YouTube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab and you guys will be able to check it out that way. Let's see what you guys are saying on the YouTube here. I'll do Twitter in a hot second. YouTube, what we got here? Let's refresh that. And I will tell you guys. There we go. All right. Right now, early voting on YouTube, but 100% of you are giving it a thumbs up. Heading over to Twitter. Over on Twitter, I am seeing 47.3% of you are giving it a thumbs down. 52.7% of you are giving it a thumbs up. Interesting.
and we polled WWE's official account on that one amongst our own respective listeners and followers at the RCWR show account. I'm seeing 41.7% of you are giving it a thumbs down. 58.3% of you are giving it a thumbs up. Yeah, I almost forgot about that funny little spot there with Elias playing his music. Nice little guitar jam session and everything. You know, it kind of seemed like you just walked in on somebody at Guitar Center. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you ever visited a fucking Guitar Center. You know, it sounds like you just dropped in on somebody having a session or whatever, and you're going, yeah, I'm not going to hear this on the radio, but yeah, as far as maybe at my local Wegmans or at my Harris Teeter, yeah, I'll probably most likely hear this kind of music. It was kind of one of those type of deals. But I love the little spot there with Jeff Hardy. He has the fucking guitar and he's shredding it real quick. And you're like, oh, yo, nice, nice. He didn't even freaking touch Elias with the guitar. And Elias is just fumbling and just all over the place, acting like he got hit. And I love how Jeff Hardy he caught that instantly. He just said, I ain't even hit you. And it's like, good job, Jeff. Because, yeah, dude was just over fucking dramatic right there. You know what would be kind of cool? If, and I wouldn't put it past WWE if they actually went in this direction, but be kind of cool if Elias and Jeff Hardy did a guitar face-off. I want to see that now, just based off what I saw tonight. I honestly would not mind it if Jeff Hardy and Elias somehow agreed to do a guitar face-off. Just marinate on that. I would not be surprised if WWE decides they want to go in that direction next. Obviously, that's going to turn into a brawl when it's all said and done. Maybe Elias gets in the cheap shot. I don't know how you do it, but somehow they need to make that happen. I think that would be very, very entertaining. All right, but that's all the talk for Monday Night Raw. We got loads more show that's going to be coming you all's way here. So, I mean, we're still just getting started. Let's do this real quick. Let's hear a word or two from our good, kind sponsors that we got for this episode of the RCWR show. We got about 3 ads that we need to play. So that'll take up about maybe, I'd say 2 minutes tops. So if you guys want to go grab a quick drink, you can do that. You gotta let the dog out real quick. You can do that as well. But come on back. We got loads to talk about still. We're gonna give preview predictions for Saturday's Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory pay-per-view event, Sunday's WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view event. We also got some headlines that we can get into, wrestling, non-wrestling related. I'll give you my thoughts on the West Wing special, When We All Vote. I'll give you my thoughts on that. It had premiered late last week, going into the weekend on HBO Max. Loads of fun content that we got left for you guys. Like I said, we're barely scratching the surface, barely an hour into the show, and we still got plenty of showtime left, so do stick around. You are checking out Monday night edition of the RCWR show for October 19th, 2020. Just about 3 minutes away from midnight, October 20th, 2020. We'll be coming right back. Hang tight.
Shirtsandapparel.com. At shirtsandapparel.com, anyone can upload their own images and custom text to a different style of t-shirts, hoodies, caps, drink koozies, coffee mugs, posters, clipboards, tote bags, stickers, even coolers. And they have a lot of social justice t-shirts that's being made right now for customers. So if you're interested in making your own political shirts, you can do that and more at shirtsandapparel.com. Ready to get started today? I know you are. Head on over there right now. Shirtsandapparel.com. One more time, shirtsandapparel.com. Are you tired of the traditional way of using cable? Well, Op.tv is here to cater to all of your needs with a variety of packages for all types of customers, covering loads of live TV, movies, sports, and video on demand. Op.tv has combined all your needs into one app, thus in the process eliminating the need for multiple apps from multiple subscriptions, lowering your bill at the same time, getting it down to as little as $6 a month. You heard me right, less than $6 a month. With Op.tv, you can watch 4 screens at the same time of your shows, sports, you name it, so that you don't have to miss out on your favorite premium TV shows, movies, sports, as Op.tv's got you covered. Op.tv has all your kids' favorite cartoon shows, and with sports, you can always enjoy front and center, be in that red zone and the Grand Slam seats when it comes to the MLB or NHL, or get your slam dunk on with the NBA. You know they're back in full effect right now. Op.tv plays all college games too. Just download the app and watch on iOS, Android, Amazon Fire devices, Mac, and Windows. For more details and to take advantage of a limited free trial, you heard me right, a limited free trial where you can try out Op.tv for 12 hours, no credit card needed. Get 1,200 plus servers with local sports, news, and TV streaming. You can act right now. I am so confident though, folks, that you are going to love this. That for a limited time for you, our RCWR listeners, I am offering you all a promo code. You heard me right, a promo code. Use the promo code RCWR Show and you can get 20% off whatever package you decide to go with. Use the promo code RCWR Show and you can get 20% off. Head over there right now, opt.tv. That's opt.tv. And if you miss any of that info, have no fear. Check out the episode description of this very episode. Opt.tv. Searching for her runaway child, Jacqueline Ellsworth is led into the derelict parts of western Pennsylvania after hearing of the supposed miracles of tech industrialist Anthony Charles. She suspects her child is taken by the surrounding cult, but as she winds up in the rundown township of Dormsburg, its practices turn more sinister and grotesque by the hour. The cult's leader is about to return. Horrifying rituals are hidden behind the walls and under the streets. As Jacqueline tries to escape, she discovers why this place seems so familiar. Cult of the Eclipse is Winfield's explosive debut and an electrifying ride of body horror, delusion, and why people are lured into malicious cults. Pick up your copy of Cult of the Eclipse by Winfield today on Amazon.com. Pick it up in paperback or Kindle edition. Cult of the Eclipse, the explosive debut from author Winfield. Pick your copy up today. All right, we are back checking out the RCWR show. Hey, did you guys see this? If you guys got a little bit of cha-ching floating around, you've been saving a little bit of a nest for spending on leisure stuff, right? Leisure stuff. To each its own. Everybody has their own little fun little hobbies and everything. We're checking out some stuff over at WWE Shop, and one thing that had jumped out to me, this may be of interest to you, especially if you are a big Macho Man Randy Savage fan. Oh yeah, brother, I dig it. They've got a really cool replica belt of Macho Man's Intercontinental Championship. Now, this is going to set you back about $900. But let me show you these images. That's one of the cool things I love about doing the webcast version of the RCWR show, is what I'm trying to show you guys, you all are able to see it in real time as I'm pulling it up. But for those of you that's only going to be listening to the audio version of the show, definitely implore you to go out of your way and check it out on WWE Shop's website. But for those of you checking out the webcast version right now here, check this out. Look at this. Look at this. This is badass. Okay, so I'm going to try to describe it for those of you that's only going to be listening to the audio only. So you get this really cool, kick-ass Macho Man Randy Savage WWE Championship belt. It's gold. It's gold, black, combination. Gold, a little bit of black plates and all that. Kind of think of what's going on currently with some of the titles that they're running around with there. And the case that the title comes in, it's white, pink, and it's got gold text for Macho Man. And it's in the shape of Macho Man shades. How fucking cool is that? I got a couple more images I can show you guys. All right, so that's the first image. Now, look at this second image here. Look at this. I mean, how badass is that? If you want to show off the title, you can do so. Just like that. That is fucking badass. Now, let me show you another image here. I got two more images for you guys. Look at this one. This is the case. When you close it, the title is in that. So how badass is that? So when you're looking at the cover design of the case in which the belt is in, normally you're used to getting the whole, oh, I got that little sports gym bag for the belt and it's got WWE logo on it. Nah, this one you get Macho Man pointing the finger. Again, this is hard. This is hard case in the shape of glasses. Freaking badass. All right, and the last image, of course, getting a better look at the title there. I mean, is that fucking cool or is that fucking cool? Again, this is going to set you back about $900. Yeah, $900. So, you know what would make it even sweeter as far as having something like that? I wish maybe Lanny Poffo would freaking autograph it on behalf of his brother. I wish something like that would maybe happen. That would be kind of cool. But I mean, if you want a really nice, cool piece of history there, and you're a big Macho Man Randy Savage fan, I mean, that's pretty much it for you. And this is limited edition, so this is something that is not going to be running around all year round. I want to just make sure you guys know that off the break. And they are taking pre-orders for it right now. I missed when it's supposed to be made available. As a matter of fact, I'm actually looking at the link. Luckily, I had saved the link. And let me just go check it out here. Yeah, you can pre-order right now. It's not expected to be in stock until Tuesday, November 10th. Again, Tuesday, November 10th. And for those of you thinking, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I can just get it through, what's the Karma? Maybe I can get it through Karma. Nah, that ain't happening. You ain't getting it through there because Karma's not available. Not for this particular item. It ain't available. So, also, oh, let me read to you guys the dimensions for those of you that are dimension buffs and all that. So the box itself is 35.88 by 15.75 by 5.13. Medium density fiberboard, EVA foam lining and brass finish hardware. The weight is a little bit over 22 pounds. And as I had mentioned, you also get a bonus pair of sunglasses that you can actually wear. Actual Macho Man sunglasses you can wear. They're UV 400 protection. You also get a Macho Man bandana as well. These titles, limited edition of 500. Again, limited edition of 500. So if you end up being one of the lucky 500 people that gets this, let me know, because I definitely want to see some pics of you showing off that freaking bad boy. And for those of you that maybe want to look at that a little bit more, I will actually put up the link in the chat so you guys can go over there right now. And the link is now live for you guys. It's a long link, but Click on that bad boy or copy it, and that will take you right to WWE Shop's official website. So pretty badass. Hey, as far as if I'm going to be getting that, I'm honestly good. I don't need that. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I had a fantastic fucking weekend. Let me set this up properly. And it's not a long-winded story, but my point is, as far as indulging in some hobbies and all that, I'm good given what I had just spent over the weekend. So I want to say it was last weekend, not this past weekend that we just wrapped up, but the weekend before. We had got this TV. It was about maybe, I would say maybe, it seemed like it was maybe about 60 inch flat screen TV, Samsung. My girl actually had bought it from a friend of hers. The friend was in a bit of a rough spot because she was in the process of moving, and there was a lot of stuff that sadly she wasn't going to be able to take with her where she was going because space, very, very limited on space, and she didn't want to deal with the hassle of putting things in storage. So, you know, my girl Tams was like, okay, well, hey, look, you know, babe, you've been talking about getting a new TV for a while now, because knock on wood, but we've been pushing a Vizio TV that's about maybe 40 something inches or whatever. And I said, yeah, let's go ahead and, okay, let's do it. So get the TV, everything was working great. Everything was working great until 2 weeks ago. Turned on the TV, and the next thing you know, I would get the Samsung Smart TV little logo text, and then I would get a black screen. I'm going, what the fuck? It's coming on, but it's going off. I don't understand it. I'm checking the adapter, I'm checking everything, and nothing's working. So long story short, I'm able to figure out that it's a fuse issue. There's something going on with the fuse, like inside. So like it literally has to be opened up by a professional. I'm a tech guy, but I ain't that goddamn tech enough to open up a TV and, oh, here's the problem. Boo, 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 boo. There it is, fixed. No. I ain't messing around with that. So it was weird because we barely had that TV, again, that we bought from her friend. We barely had that TV for almost a year. Barely a year. I think we maybe made it about 7 months with that TV. And it just like that. Tried plugging it in different outlets. Nothing was working. So it was like, what the fuck? So we got the ball rolling. We were like, you know what? Okay. You know, not for nothing, but I kind of always wanted for us to shop around together and get a major appliance or something for the house. So, you know, now I'm kind of getting my wish. So we went up to the Best Buy over the weekend and we were looking at TVs. And you know how it is when you're at Best Buy, especially when you're over at the laptops or you're over at the TVs or, you know, the heavy duty electronics. You know, you got people that'll kind of like vultures, you know, we're just looking. You know, you got to say that real quick so they can get off your ass. It's like, oh, well, if you need anything, just holler. It's like, yeah. You know, so we're looking. And we got this really sweet ass 75-inch. What is it? It's a 75-inch. Samsung 4K UHD crystal flat screen TV. You guys that are like big into the tech shit, y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And it's a smart TV. So we can hook this bad boy up to, you know, all smart devices, doorbells, all that cool shit and everything. And so originally we were going to put the motherfucker in the car, but we're like, Yeah, just thinking about the car, looking at the dimensions, thinking about the dimensions of the TV in the box. There's no way we're going to be able to fit that in. No way it's going to be able to fit in the car. So we got a delivery service that's going to be coming by to drop it off later this week. Luckily, I'm off Friday. I know the past couple of times told you guys we were going to be doing a show, and for some weird reason haven't been able to do the show because work decided they need it. But I'm telling you, like I told my girl, I said, if they even try that shit with me this week, no, already got plans. Like, no, I need to be there for my shit. So we got that. We got a mount TV stand that's going to be coming. So I'm going to be handyman this weekend. I'm going to be installing the mount on the wall and all that. Got my stud finder because apparently, again, you guys that's like into the tech stuff and all that, you guys will just gush over this shit. But apparently, I didn't know this before, but apparently you can't just, I'm going to put up this TV wall mount. You can't just do that because you got to find the wood in between the wall, and you basically have to screw on your mounts and all that stuff through your wall into those wood frames wherever they are behind that wall. Because if you're just putting it on the wall, it's not going to hold. Eventually what you just spent for your new TV or whatever, it's all going to come crashing down. And then you're going to be looking fucking stupid. So we had to go get a stud finder. And basically, it sounds funny, doesn't it? Like a stud finder. Hey, where can I find a stud finder? And you're just picturing Quagmire from fucking Family Guy.
Giggity, giggity, goo. Right here, baby.
And it's like, no, it's a stud finder. It's basically this little, it looks like a Star Trek fucking taser thingamajigger. And you're basically putting it up on the wall. And it can detect wood, and it can detect metal, wiring and all that. So you don't electrocute yourself and all that other silly shit. And you basically use that to help you find, okay, in the case of putting up a TV mount, wall mount, okay, so where's the wood that I can drill through the wall, and it'll drill through that wood structure and really hold it in place, so to speak, and all that. So I got me a fun little, I'll probably shoot a little video here and there showing you guys what I'm doing. I'll probably do something maybe on Periscope or something. But yeah, that's all going to be going down this Friday. So those of you that know your tech, y'all already know your man over here spent a pretty penny for this new TV that's going to be coming. If there's a moral story to learn too from what I just shared with you guys, be very careful about what you buy from your friends. Now, I'm not saying that, my girl's friend did anything shady or anything like that with the TV. No, she's a sweetheart. She's been more than a sweetheart, very kind to us. I just think, honestly, when it's all said and done, you really don't know the story about, okay, what all has that TV gone through with that friend before it got to us. And so I've had a rule of thumb, which has been, when it comes to, major electronics like that, don't buy from friends, because you could really put yourself in a bad position of having some problems down the road. I would rather it be a situation where if I'm buying something brand new and I fuck it up, then I know why it's fucked up, because it went down on my watch, and okay, now I gotta do XYZ to try to fix the shit and all that. So a little bit of food for thought right there. But yeah, be kind of leery about what you buy from friends if you can help it, and it's within reason. I mean, of course, it's a touch and go type of deal, but yeah. So see, where can we go next? So if you guys remember, especially you Patreon members, y'all know that me and Tams had reviewed the entire Last Ride Undertaker series. And we were going on and on about, man, they need to put this on DVD. They gotta put this on DVD. They would be just fools to not put this on DVD. Well, they are putting it on DVD. Now, just to kind of follow up, a couple of months ago, we talked about it on the show. A couple of months ago, it was revealed that the Last Ride DVD set would be coming, but it would be for the UK. And that kind of made a lot of us go, oh man, come on now, what the hell? You know, why can't we get some fucking love? And why can't we get the freaking DVD set as well here in the US? What the hell? Well, the US is now going to be getting their DVD set as well. So here's what all is in it from what I'm seeing so far. It will be hitting DVD and Blu-ray. It'll come to the UK market first on November 23rd, and then exactly a month later, so the December 23rd, the US will get it. Now, thanks to Amazon UK, here's the content and special features. So, Chapter 1, The Greatest Fear. Get a rare and revealing look at Mark Calloway, the man behind The Undertaker, as he prepares for the final match of his storied WWE career against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33. Chapter 2, The Redemption. The Undertaker's greatest fear is realized as his disappointing performance against Roman Reigns fuels the dead man to rebuild and redeem himself in a match against John Cena at WrestleMania 34. Chapter 3, End of an Era. Fresh off his stellar performance at WrestleMania 34 against John Cena, The Undertaker seeks closure on his 30-year career in a series of matches with the men he respects the most, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Kane. With a dream scenario involving all four legends at WWE Crown Jewel, the stage was set for the Phenom to ride off into the night. Chapter 4, The Battle Within. Seeking a storybook ending for his legendary career, The Undertaker's mental and physical struggles come to a head in Saudi Arabia with disastrous results. And in the wake of that catastrophic blah, 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 Mark Calloway makes a major decision regarding his future as The Undertaker. Chapter 5, The Revelation. With The Undertaker seemingly content calling it a career after a successful match at Extreme Rules, the lore of a WrestleMania dream match with AJ Styles brings the dead man back for perhaps his last ride at the Showcase of the Immortals. Bonus, Tales from the Dead Man. Taking his last ride, The Undertaker reveals his favorite stories and secrets for all his creatures of the night. Hear forbidden tales about the Phenom's debut, Madison Square Garden, the legendary Yokozuna, The Godfather, the infamous Wrestler's Court, and more, narrated by actor Timothy Olyphant. Extras, JBL's Memories of The Undertaker, Chirotherapy, Stone Cold Respect, Make-A-Wish and Raw 25, The Undertaker's favorite opponents, What an Entrance. Now, I don't know about you guys. I hope there's a lot more to this, but just off the break, look, I'm happy to have this on DVD because this is something that honestly, as a lifelong Undertaker fan, I can see myself. And you see, I got the Undertaker joint right behind me. By the way, y'all know normally the sofa over here is clean. Yeah, you can always see the sofa. That's not dirty laundry in the background. Your man over here actually does work around the house when he's not working. And I did mad laundry over the weekend. So all that's nice and folded up. I just got to move it. So it's just running around past couple of days here. So, but yeah, you see the Undertaker joint behind me. And eventually I got to show you guys a tour of the studio here. But I also have right behind me where is it? I got a signed Shawn Michaels and Undertaker from their WrestleMania match. The first one. I got it signed. It's right next to when AJ Styles took on Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. That one's signed by AJ Styles. So lifelong Undertaker fan. This is something that when me and Tammy were reviewing each chapter, you know, we loved this series tremendously, and I was pushing for it. They gotta put this on DVD. They gotta capitalize. They gotta capitalize. And Tammy, I mean, you want to talk about fucking eerie. On chapter 4 of our review, she called that Undertaker would announce his retirement on the next episode, just based off what she was seeing with each episode. Eerie, fucking eerie. I mean, once in a while, yeah, that's the beautiful part. Whenever me and her are doing shows together, she will call something dead on. And man, did she fucking call that. And I remember even saying to her, I said, you know, look, I'm not trying to change your mind or laugh that off in any type of way, but you really think they would save his announcement of retiring and all that? You really think they would save that for the network? And I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, I honestly think he's going to retire and it's going to be announced on the final chapter. And she fucking called it in detail. I mean, she fucking called it. So I can't wait to see this. But as far as the bonus content, you know, most of this stuff, you know, even the stuff about Taker's Court and all, I remember all of that. Now the extras, that kind of sounds new, but it comes off a little bit weak as well. I think what probably would have sweetened the pot a little bit more for me with this one would be if we could have gotten Undertaker on the Stone Cold podcast. You know, since that's essentially part of the WWE network, I would have loved it. The Broken Skull Sessions episode with Taker, I would have loved it if we would have that on as extras. I hope that they do something really cool with the box art, particularly if you're buying it directly from WWE's website. I hope they do some type of a limited edition thing where Undertaker has signed it. Maybe you'll get like some signed photos or something of that nature, limited to first 1,000 that pre-order it or whatever. I really hope they're going to consider something like that, because just for the extras right now, it's kind of, you know, and it's kind of weird because I remember those times, and I'm sure many of you all do as well. There used to be a time when it came to WWE DVDs. Shit, man, you want to talk about, okay, what's up with the bonus content? Man, you got your fucking money's worth as far as the bonus content goes. And this just kind of feels really lacking. I hope that with it being, less than a month away that the UK is going to be getting this, hope maybe there's some stuff that wasn't reported that is going to be part of it as well. And like I said, you know, we get some more extra stuff that comes with it, at least if you were to order from the WWE site. But yeah, that should be pretty good. While we're also still talking about The Undertaker, also, there is a Undertaker and Kane documentary, Brothers of Destruction, that's going to be premiering at the Austin Film Festival. I'm not sure how many of you guys heard this, but WWE, they made the announcement. It's going to make its worldwide debut at that Austin Film Festival. The event is going to be happening from October 22nd to October 29th. And I want to try to see, hey, I am part of the press. I'm going to try to see if maybe I can somehow get a hold of a screening copy so I can freaking review it. I'll let you guys know. No, you guys won't be able to check it out, but I will let you know. Apparently, this is a 60-minute piece. The director is Kieran Brent. The producer is Brian Decker. And I'm looking at the synopsis for this. Forever linked as two of sports entertainment's most enigmatic and popular superstars, Undertaker and Kane shed their on-screen personas for a historic convention at Austin's Zach Theater as part of WWE's 30 Years of the Dead Man celebration, commemorating Undertaker's 30th anniversary in the WWE. With more than 3 decades as one of the industry's biggest box office draws, The Undertaker's rise to stardom is forever connected to his mysterious counterpart from the dark side, Kane. Both in the ring and off-screen, Mark Calloway and Glenn Jacobs develop a deep friendship revealed in this film. Brothers of Destruction, the latest presentation from WWE Network documentaries, brings the audience behind the curtain with untold stories and rare footage of this unbreakable bond. So look for that. That's definitely, without a doubt, going to be coming to DVD pretty soon. So hopefully that will have loads of bonus content as well. Shout out to Paige. Paige had revealed on social media that it is now 2 years and counting that she has been sober. So shout out to her. Shout out to her. Her older brother Roy, he's currently 6 weeks sober. So one thing at a time. That's how you got to take it. One thing at a time. And if you really want to see something that just kind of makes you go, whoa, you look at her Instagram posts, and she's got a picture of how she looked, a couple of years ago, and she was, hey, you got it, I'll do it. And you look at how she is now and everything, and she looks healthy. And I know people were kind of picking on her, saying, oh, you're picking up a little bit too much meat, you're looking too thick. It's like, well, we all grow out of that teenage body of ours eventually. We fill out eventually, and that's all she's essentially done is filled out, and she's filled out rather nicely. But I like the post that she had put up there with her Instagram joint. She said, I've posted something like that before, but so proud of my progress. 2 years of soberness. Mama feeling good. Swipe and you'll see my big bro. He is 6 weeks in of being sober, and I'm so proud. He aged backwards in just under 2 months. Please throw some support in the comments. He deserves it. Can't wait for him to come visit me and Ronnie for his 40th in February. So, one day at a time. It's good stuff like that. We as a wrestling community, it's kind of sad because, especially the dirt sheets, especially those that consider themselves podcasters, but all they know how to do is report on negativity, the controversies, because I get it. For them, it's a case where, clickbait at its finest. This will, get people talking, and they're so focused on the clickbaiting and reporting stuff that is, inaccurate, doesn't come straight from the horse's mouth. And that's just the day and age that we're in, sadly. Doesn't mean we have to like that shit, but these same people that are so quick to report nothing but bad things, when you hear good stories like this, that does nothing for me. It doesn't meet my base. It doesn't give me my fix. It doesn't give me my clicks. And so they disregard it. But we need to hear good stories like this when we can, because it's very inspiring. And it also kind of lets you know that maybe for you that is having your own personal battle with substance or depression, anxiety, whatever the case may be, or somebody that's going through something, to hear something like what's been happening with Paige and how she's been pretty fucking good now for these past couple of years, you can't help but look at that and say that's very inspiring, that's very motivational, that's very empowering, and if anything, it encourages you and makes you want to try to reach to those same heights as well. So, let's see, what else can we get into here? Just trying to see what else we can get into here. WWE had denied had got denied for several trademarks. And they ended up filing for new trademarks on wrestlers. I'm not sure how many of you guys had heard about this, but Fightful, they're the ones that had first broke this out. They're reporting that the United States Patent and Trademark Office had denied WWE's trademarks on Drew Gulak, Pete Dunne, Tony Nese, and Justice. They will be abandoned in 6 months if WWE doesn't turn in the proper paperwork. And in a nutshell, the refusal reads, applicant must clarify whether the name, trademark name, in the mark identifies a particular living individual, C 37 CFR, blah, 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 blah. In this case, the application neither specifies whether the name in the mark identifies a particular living individual, nor includes a written consent to register a mark that consists of or comprises the name of a particular living individual, including a first name, stage name, or nickname. An applicant must provide a written consent personally signed by the named individual. Accordingly, if the name in the mark does not identify a particular living individual, applicant must submit a statement to that effect. The name shown in the mark does not identify a particular living individual. So they've also filed new trademarks for Mark Andrews, Oliver Carter, and Piper Nevin. So I think when this is all said and done, maybe you could kind of, look at this and go, what the fuck? It's a slip up. Once in a while, this will happen. Once in a while, this will happen. Some can look at this and say, hey, the trademark office, they finally realized WWE is like screwing their wrestlers here. What the fuck? I mean, Annie and everybody will fucking go through this. I can remember a couple of decades back, there was some stuff I was trying to get copyrighted and trademarked, and it did not get approved off the break because I did not specify specifically, okay, so, living, entity, enterprise, I didn't specify, and so this happens. This fucking happens. I wouldn't really read too much into it. As long as I've been on the air, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened to the WWE, and trust me, they're going to be able to wrap this up rather quickly. Shout out to Lillian Garcia. I love the beautiful and the lovely Lillian Garcia. If there's anybody I've been really proud of that's been able to go into the podcasting world and really make a good mark, a good positive mark at that. Because the podcasting world, it's just not for everybody. And I'm sure you, the listeners, you make your rounds listening to different podcasts. I know at the end of the day, I definitely, even though my list is extremely short, I make my rounds checking out some of my friends and colleague shows, supporting them and everything. Podcasting is not for everybody. And we've especially seen that with people that have been involved directly in the business. It doesn't work for everybody, but with Lillian Garcia, she has been one of those rare exceptions. Damn good interviewer. I definitely need to give her props. She doesn't go in doing no Geraldo Rivera type of gotcha shit, but she has this nice, natural, and elegant way, honestly, and being able to create such a nice, warm atmosphere that, is very settling and comforting, and really naturally brings out whatever you were thinking about said wrestler she's interviewing. Somehow it just naturally is able to come out, and she's got the gift of the gab. I definitely got to give her that. But congrats to her. She revealed that her podcast, Chasing the Glory, is going to be coming to the WWE Network. So starting
on October 26th. So that's fantastic to hear. That is fantastic to hear. So that's the latest podcast to join the network with Not Sam Wrestling, After the Bell, and Swerve City podcast. So, you know, we knew about this a couple of years back about WWE. They were trying to get into the whole podcasting world and all that. And, you know, little by little, they are building it up. Also, found this to be kind of interesting. I believe we talked about this 2 weeks ago. WWE quietly had released a patch for WWE 2K Battlegrounds. So for those of you that were experiencing the issues that I documented in my review, one of those being you could not create yourself as a created wrestler because you kept getting a unknown error, and as a result of that, whatever you created was invalid and it wasn't saved as a result. Yet if you created a different account on your Xbox or your PlayStation, and you logged in under that different account, loaded it all back up, everything worked. It was really weird. It was like every other account you would experience these issues. There would be glitches in the games, a whole lot of stuff. Well, they quietly had released a patch, but that's not what's new. Because again, I brought that up a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks to be exact. What's new is you got a new report that is saying that for the wrestlers that were body scanned and all of that, they're featured in this game, they're getting $35,000. That's their cut. Now, that's being described, take that news with a grain of salt, that's being described as pretty low compared to the previous WWE games. But at the same time, to defend 2K, WWE, and all of that, look, the 2K series particularly ain't been the same in the past couple of years. Sales were really down big time for that last 2K game that came out, last WWE 2K game. So with this new particular title, fans being a bit on the fence, yeah, I don't expect things to be popping and banging like it used to be. So again, $35,000 given to the talents that appeared in WWE Battlegrounds. However, here's where you have a little bit of that's kind of fucked up, which is you've got some wrestlers that did the motion body capture, signed off on their name, likeliness, and all of that. They're going to be appearing as DLC. And it's okay, well, these guys are getting $35,000 as a bonus. What's going on with, me getting that amount because I'm DLC? So what's going on? Well, they're being told supposedly they wouldn't be getting that same bonus because they didn't have main roster contracts yet. Kind of fucked up, isn't it? Kind of fucked up. And yet said talents that aren't getting the type of money that the main roster talents are getting, essentially this is one of the main reasons why they are looking to the cameos, they are looking to the Twitches, they are looking to insert, and they're trying to essentially recoup, ultimately stay cash flow positive. This is why they're doing what they're doing. And WWE is saying, well, you got to cough up that cameo. You got to cough up that Twitch. You got to cough up that YouTube. You got to sign it over to us so that we can take a bigger piece of the pie, essentially. And because when we get done restructuring it, it's ultimately going to count towards your downside. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, don't get me started on that shit again, because I don't want to fucking go there. I don't want to fucking go there. Hey, so we got Bound for Glory 2020 is going to be going down this Saturday, October 24th. Again, Saturday. It's going to be coming on at 8 p.m. You guys can check it out for your respective cable satellite providers. You guys will also be able to check it out on Fight TV.
I've actually reached out to Fight TV. I'm going to try to see if we can give away a couple of codes, do another prize giveaway. So keep your fingers crossed. Also reached out to Impact Wrestling directly to see if maybe we might be able to score a couple of interviews with some of the talents to talk about Bound for Glory as it gets closer. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully we'll be able to do something with them. But Bound for Glory is going to be coming up. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a pretty damn good card. Let's talk about this card here, man. So we got the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match where the winner could choose any championship match of their choice. And if Heath or Rhino wins, then Heath also wins a full-time contract with Impact Wrestling. So we've got Ace Romero versus Brian Myers versus HIAC versus Heath versus Hernandez versus Larry D versus Rhino versus Taya Valkyrie versus Tenille Dashwood versus Tommy Dreamer versus To Be Determined. Again, this is the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match where the winner could choose any championship match of their choice. You know, as much as I would like to see Heath Slater win a contract, as I've been talking about passionately on new episodes of Impact Showdown, this is a great running gag that you have going on here with Heath Slater. So it makes all the sense in the world to keep milking it for what it's worth. So I don't see Heath picking up the W. I just don't see that. The names I'm homing in on particularly, Brian Myers stands out to me. Tenille Dashwood stands out to me. I think it's between those two respectfully. As far as the To Be Determined, your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. But the reason why I'm mainly homing in on Brian Myers is because you think about the feud that he had there with, who was it, Willie Mack? You know, trading some wins and losses right there, but not really building upon that. Then going into the Tommy Dreamer stuff and pretty much the same thing. I would love to see Brian Myers really be able to build off of something. And if it were to come down to him and Tommy Dreamer as the final two participants, and again, knowing what's at stake, then I would love to see Brian Myers, you know, ultimately come out on top. And man, how badass would it be if on this same card of Bound for Glory, how badass would it be if Brian Myers had decided that, okay, well, I won this and I can pretty much, you know, challenge for any championship match of my choice or whatever. I think it would be kind of interesting if Brian Myers were to come out same night of Bound for Glory and go after the X Division Championship. Just saying. Tenille Dashwood, I mean, she just recently came back into the fold on Impact and everything. There's part of me that would like to see her win it. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one right here. It's a tricky one. I'm going to go with Brian Myers. I really especially love the idea of him, that same card, or if not the same card, maybe on the very next Impact. But it makes all the sense in the world to really capitalize on the same card of Bound for Glory. I like the idea of Brian Myers. So hopefully this is the direction that Impact Wrestling is going. That's personally where I would go. Eddie Edwards taking on Ken Shamrock. Boy, the way that this just kind of came together. I'm going to go with Eddie Edwards. I don't think it's gonna be. You know what? Eddie Edwards, maybe by like a quick roll up. Ken Shamrock can't believe it. Like a upset kind of like that. But I don't see these guys being done just yet. I can still see these guys continuing the feud. Maybe Eddie Edwards even winning via countout. I mean, I could even see that as well. So random of a feud, though, I gotta tell you. It still sits wrong with me. Just so damn random. EC3 taking on Moose. So this is going down. How can I pick against EC3, man? Like, seriously, how can I pick against him? I can't. I just can't. I gotta go with EC3 right here. I gotta go with EC3. Sorry, Moose. I love you, man. I love you. You my boy. I gotta go with EC3 on this one. Trent Reznor 2.0. I gotta go with him. Rohit Raju defends the X Division Championship in a 6-way intergender scramble match. He defends against Chris Bay, Jordan Grace, TJP, Trey, Willie Mack. Well, Rohit Raju, I'm not seeing with the retain. You know what, man? You know what I would personally like? You know what I would personally like? Willie Mack has had it. Rohit Raju has had it. TJP has had it. Chris Bay has had it. Trey. I'm looking up Trey's bio as we speak. Trey. Wow, so Trey has yet to capture the Impact Championship, the Impact X Division Championship. Am I reading this right? Wow. If that's the case, then I think it's really going to come down to Trey and Jordan Grace. Damn, that's a tough one. Because I was so ready to just go with Jordan Grace. But now that I know Trey has also not... You know what? I got to go with Trey. I got to go with Trey Miguel. It makes all the sense in the world. And I'm going to explain to you guys the reason why. First off, I still remember just all the great matches that this man was having in the months prior, and how Impact Management, to their credit, they were doing a really good, superb job building up Trey as a breakout singles competitor. They were doing a really good job with that. And for me, it would seem as though going into this particular type of match at Bound for Glory, if you've been doing all of this build-up, trying to have Trey go over more as a singles guy, if you're doing all of this build-up and the payoff at the end ultimately is not to have Trey walk away as the X Division champion, then my question to Impact Management would be, well, if not on this night, then when? When would you essentially have Trey be in another position similar to this, where you're trying to establish him even more as a singles competitor? So I really like the idea of Trey Miguel as your new Impact X Division champion. That's definitely who I'm going with. I'm definitely going with him. Jordan Grace, that would be a nice change of pace. I definitely would embrace the hell out of that, but not on that night. Not on that night. Motor City Machine Guns defend their Impact World Tag Titles in a fatal 4-way match against Good Brothers, The North, Ace Austin, Madman Fulton. And the Good Brothers are still undefeated. That's the other thing. The Good Brothers are still undefeated.
Tricky one. This is a tricky one. I don't see, for those of you wondering if Good Brothers are maybe going to come out of this as the new Impact World Tag Champs, I don't see that. I hope that doesn't happen, because once again, that would be Impact hot-shotting. I'm usually not a fan of hot-shotting. But Impact was very quick to point out how well they were doing in selling Good Brothers merchandise. Good Brothers been doing good with the talking shop, little specials on Fight and all that. So from a marketing standpoint, you know what? I'm gonna say Good Brothers, new Impact World Tag Champions. And that should be a damn good tag match too. As far as the matches that's really gonna, I think that Fatal 4-Way tag match, that's really gonna blow the roof off. I think Moose and EC3, I think they're gonna have a sleeper hit of a match. Deonna Purrazzo defends the Impact Knockouts Championship against Kylie Ray. So the main question here, how much of a factor is Susie/Su Yung going to play in this matchup? That's the real question. I gotta be honest, man. The Deonna Purrazzo run as Impact Knockouts champion, it just has not been doing it for me. And yeah, I agree with the assessment that she's coming off like a light version of Tessa Blanchard. I would definitely agree with that. As much as I want to pick Kylie Ray, I just picture Susie/Su Yung trying to extract that revenge. She still needs to get that revenge. So kind of keeping that in mind, you got to have Deonna Purrazzo go over. Nothing I think would be more badass at Bound for Glory than Deonna Purrazzo not only defeats Kylie Ray, but to add more insult to injury, she's got that freaking arm of Kylie Ray's, and she is putting a hurting on it. I mean, she's putting some serious twerk. I said twerk. I wish. No, she's putting some serious torque on that arm. Lights are flickering. They go out. Next thing you know, Su Young's right there. Yeah, that's what you want to send the folks home happy with. Su Yung has returned. Set up Perazzo, Su Yung. Deonna's going to retain, but from that period forward, she's not going to be holding on to that title much longer. Eric Young defends the Impact World title against Rich Swan. Nothing against EY. Happy for the man. Happy that he's back in Impact and all of that. This was a case right here where the hot shot to the title, I really was not a fan of it. Really wasn't. I'm really liking the idea of Rich Swan as your Impact champion. Because he's the underdog going into this one. He's the real underdog. I gotta go with Rich Swan. I mean, the guy is so well respected, so well liked. Anybody that's been following his career for so many years, I mean, I can't help but wonder, I always talk about on this show, not everybody needs to be a world champion and all that. I always bring that up. But what's been going on with Eric Young as Impact champion so far, it almost feels as though EY in this role that he's been in this story going into Bound for Glory, it almost feels as though, okay, we need the perfect opponent that can really help tell the story here for getting Rich Swan over. So I kind of like the idea a lot about Rich Swan becoming your new Impact World Champion. So, and by the way, I am still one episode behind on Impact Wrestling. I actually was supposed to drop a new Impact Showdown over the weekend, and I was having weird problems that was going on with my cable package. I won't bore you guys with the details. If anything, I'll share the story with you guys on the next show. But long story short, I now have a subscription for Impact Plus. And so with Impact Plus, I think I'm still doing a trial version of it. I'm not sure, but earlier today, I was able to watch just a couple of minutes by design because I had to go do some other stuff. But I was just playing around and I was actually able to watch the first couple of minutes of last week's Impact Wrestling. And there was some other stuff I was playing around with. So I have not watched last week's Impact Wrestling yet. However, I will be sitting down and I will be watching it and getting it out, talking about it ASAP, I should say, on a new Impact Showdown, because Tuesday is going to be their Bound for Glory Go Home edition of Impact Wrestling. So those episodes I will definitely get out ASAP. So the best thing I could say to you guys is please don't spoil anything for me with regards to those episodes. I will see it and I will definitely talk about it on Impact Showdown. You guys have been seeing how we've been putting those particular episodes out every couple of days. So I got you guys for sure. But let me go back one more time to that main event match. Yeah, Rich Swan, Eric. I'm going to go with Rich Swan. I'm kind of having a hard time picking against Rich Swan. I really, really am. And then also, I'm just thinking about the future with EY as your Impact World Champion. And I just can't help but go, okay, so let's say you have EY retain. Well, where exactly do you go next after EY? Who does he feud against next? And that's where I'm having a little bit. Does EC3 maybe chase after him? Are you going in that route? Do you maybe go with Eddie Edwards? But then you got Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock is talking about his shot, his opportunity. Stop getting in my way. He obviously wants to become Impact Champion. So, but even at that, I don't really see that much of a lifespan with this current incarnation of EY. I just personally don't. Whereas with Rich Swan at the helm, that really freshens things up as far as opponents that he could take on. So I kind of like that a little bit more, honestly. Just the fresh matchups off the break. Because, if you really stop and think about it, even if you were able to go into the Eddie Edwards rematch, you still got to go, okay, so who's after that? And the way I like to look at things is, okay, what do you got for the next 3 months? What do you got for the next 6 months? What do you got maybe up to the next 9 months? Just looking at the next 3 months, looking at the next 6 months, EY, that's going to run out real quick. Rich Swan, that creates a whole lot of stuff. My God, off the break, you could definitely do Moose. You could definitely slide in there Rohit Raju, even though I don't like the guy personally. You could definitely slide him in there. You can slide in Ace Austin for sure. You could definitely slide him in there. You could slide in Brian Myers. You could slide in Hernandez. You could slide in one of the guys from the North. You could slide in Chris Bay. You could slide in Willie. I mean, there's so many cool combinations that you could do with a Rich Swan as your champion. So I got to go with that. Looking at the card one more time from the bottom to the top for your Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. Once again, I'm going to go with Brian Myers. Don't be too surprised if maybe he fucking tries to pull a swerve and tries to capitalize on becoming the new X Division champion. Don't count that out. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that goes down. I got Eddie Edwards over Ken Shamrock. I'm looking at EC3 over Moose. Sorry, Moose. I love you any other time, brother. Who's your new X Division champion? I'm going with Trey Miguel. Good Brothers for your new Impact World Champions. Deonna Perazzo retains the Knockouts title over Kylie Ray. Rich Swan over EY to become the new Impact World Champion. So the only title I have that is being retained is the Knockouts title. That's the only one. That is the only one I'm seeing. And kind of following up on the tradition of what normally goes down at Bound for Glory, normally to a certain extent, you get some fucking sweeps as far as new champions. But I'm excited for Bound for Glory. It should be a good card. As far as if I'm going to be checking it out Saturday, by the time I get off from work, the pay-per-view will be coming on. So my goal is, and I'll probably take my tablet with me to work. My goal is to begin watching it as soon as I get off, and pretty much on the way home, just continue to watch it. And hopefully I'll be able to come on live and I'll be able to talk about it. Now, what I'm not quite sure just yet, I don't know if we're going to do a post show for everybody to check out, or if I'm only going to keep it for our Patreon members, because for our Patreon members, we owe them some content. I do appreciate the patience over there, but I'll figure it out. I'll have the word out for you guys before the weekend hits. But that's Bound for Glory. Very excited. And if we're able to get a hold of those prize codes for the giveaways, I'll let you all know. Just stay connected to me on social media and you guys will definitely know about it. All right, so that's Bound for Glory. Let's see what's going on here with WWE Hell in a Cell. That's going to be coming up Sunday of October 25th. So the card for Hell in a Cell is as follows right here. All right. And right now, wow, we only got 4 matches. I wonder if I should even go into this card right now. My God. Yeah, we only got 4 matches. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to go into Hell in a Cell because they only got 4 matches. So I'm kind of under the impression that maybe between NXT and Friday's SmackDown, they're going to announce more matches. I will tell you the matches, but I'm not going to go over predictions and all that because obviously this card isn't complete. But right now, we've got Elias taking on Jeff Hardy. We've got Bayley defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Sasha Banks, Hell in a Cell. We got Drew McIntyre taking on Randy Orton, Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. And we've got Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Jey Uso in a Hell in a Cell I Quit match. As far as I can see, that is it for Hell in a Cell. Now let me do this. And by the way, for those of you that are tuning in, hello to you guys. I'm sorry I'm not really looking in the chat like that. I try not to be influenced by some of the things that you guys are saying in the chat. but I'm thinking in real time here. I am looking at the actual card, trying to see if there's an update. And whatever I'm able to find, I will gladly freaking... Let's see here. Give me something new here. Give me something new here. Let's see. Match card. Let's see here. WWE. Hell in a Cell. Match card. So I'm only seeing 4 matches, and that's on the Wikipedia. And normally, people are pretty fucking good at updating the Wikipedia. So let me go to WWE's website real quick here. All right. WWE. Hell in a Cell. Shows. Let's go to shows. I'm on WWE's official website. All right. Hell in a Cell. Let's click on that. See what matches they got here. Okay, so per WWE's website, the only new match that I am seeing right now that was added, Jeff Hardy taking on Elias. That's the only new match that I'm seeing. So that gives you 5 matches total. Yeah, I'm not going to freaking, let me look here. Because if anybody's definitely accurate, it's WWE's website here. That is weird. WWE doesn't even have Jeff Hardy and them reflected on the actual card. Yeah. This is what I'm gonna do. I have no problem because I'm gonna be off work on Friday anyway. I have no problem coming on talking about SmackDown, and one more time we can look at the actual card, because normally, truth be told, with it being so early, you longtime listeners notice WWE has a nasty habit of adding more matches as we get closer to SmackDown, and then giving you a final rundown of what all is to come as far as last minute matches and all of that. So it'd be kind of premature right now to talk about 4, maybe possibly 5 matches, when the card is actually probably going to be about 8, 9 matches tops. And what's weird is on WWE's official website, they have not updated at all the matches that's going to be happening, which is not like WWE. Any matches that should have been announced on Wikipedia, people do a phenomenal job in updating when it comes to the pay-per-view cards. So we're going to be coming right back on Friday. We'll talk strictly SmackDown. Maybe we'll talk a little bit of headlines that went down since last we were on the air in between. We'll definitely look at the Hell in a Cell card. But that's it for now. All right, so let me give a shout out to our Patreon members. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio content, video content as well. You won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to Patreon members Gino. Shout out to Justin Ripstock. Shout out to John Davis. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to my good friend Tony Bing Gaming. You want the very latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel Square Onyx, Avengers, tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, reviews. Tony Bing Gaming. He is the man. Check him out. He's on YouTube, and he's got a great Patreon paywall as well. Check him out. Tony Bing Gaming. All right, so couple of non-wrestling related headlines. First off, here in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., we have a very respected reporter by the name of Wendy Rieger. And for decades, she has been incorporated with WRC TV, NBC Washington News Channel 4. And she's very good with her reporting. She's got serious swag. She's got a laid back, kind of a flirtatious demeanor that's about her and everything. want to just send her a speedy recovery. I'm not sure how many of you all in the DMV are aware of this, but she recently had open heart surgery. And she's a young woman too. She's only 63, going on 64. Doesn't look like it either, because when you look at her, she looks like she's honestly in her early 50s. Bullshit you not. She honestly looks like she's in her early to mid 50s. But she recently had open heart surgery. And Doreen Gensler, longtime veteran reporter of News 4, she's actually going to be interviewing Wendy Rieger. I think she conducted the interview with her maybe right before Wendy did open heart surgery, or maybe it was a couple of weeks after. I can't remember it, but beginning the 21st on News 4 is her, I think it's a 3-part interview that she had did with Wendy. So again, speedy recovery to Wendy Rieger. Again, she had open heart surgery, and apparently there were some serious warning signs that Wendy had missed. And you got one story that's saying she had suffered a heart attack, but what I'm hearing right now is officially, and it came from Doreen Gensler, is that Wendy has been gone for several weeks off of television because she had open heart surgery. So speedy recovery to Wendy. And the other thing, I want to send best wishes to veteran actor Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges revealed on social media earlier that he has been diagnosed with lymphoma, which is a type of cancer, as you all know. And he's trying to do his best not to, have his fans be all freaking out going, what the fuck and everything. But he released a very brief statement on social media, and he said he's been diagnosed with lymphoma. And he said, although it's a serious disease, he feels fortunate that he has a great team of doctors and the prognosis is good. He's starting treatment, and he's going to keep everybody posted on his recovery. 70 years old. You hear that, and hey, just, he's, for the most part, you think of Jeff Bridges, he's always been in pretty good health. Every time we've seen the guy, he's in the best of health. So, hopefully he can kick this form of cancer in its fucking ass and be done with it. So, best wishes definitely go out to him. Kind of sucks that you hear this about some of your favorites, man. It really, really does. Also, let's talk politics. Nothing too heavy. We can save that for next week. So, over the weekend, I saw HBO Max's original West Wing, When We All Vote. This was a reunion of sorts, if you really stop and think about it, at least with the core cast members of the West Wing. And I don't want to spend 15 minutes just going all over the place about this, because I'm actually going to write up a really cool editorial review piece for it and everything. But it was a pleasant surprise, because I've been trying out HBO Max on trial, just to kind of get a good feel and everything, because I'm in the process of ditching my cable / satellite altogether. I got Verizon Fios. At this point, I'm only going to keep Fios for the internet, and I'm already looking at cheaper alternatives. I've been playing around with YouTube TV for a couple of months. I really like YouTube TV. I especially love the fact that I can take YouTube TV with me as I'm on the go. And I love the fact that multiple families in my household, they can pretty much log into that same account, have their own profile though, and they can pretty much just go in and watch what they want to watch and everything. I love that. But being able to just, as you're on the go, look on your tablet, look on your phone, check out your content. I just love having that type of accessibility. And not to mention, Verizon Fios, I've been paying, I know I said I was going to talk about it on the next show, but with Verizon Fios for the past couple of years now, I've been paying almost $275 a month. $275 a month for the package that I have. And not having that much to show for. And pretty much with what I've been researching with YouTube TV, it's like, okay, so basically that, and just combine it with the internet, I can basically be getting away paying almost $150, almost, versus $275 a month. Yeah, that sounds pretty damn good to me. So over the weekend, I was playing around with HBO Max just to see if maybe that was something I, was interested in playing around with and everything. And I think I'm gonna probably get it. And that's how I stumbled upon West Wing. And true story, lifelong West Wing fan. I remember when the series had popped up. What was it, 1999? Some shit like that. I remember when it popped up, and I loved that show. If you were living out here during the 7 seasons that the West Wing was on, living out here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, West Wing was the talk at work, talk at college, especially if you were in the politics and everything. Beloved show. And many of us were crushed when the show got canceled. I always felt that of all the series, that show really did a good job in having a great assembled cast. I mean, just a great who's who of people that just came through there and everything. But my favorite was definitely the last couple of seasons, probably like the last 2-3 seasons. I love when they had Jimmy Smits, famous from NYPD Blue. I loved when they had him come on there. I loved when Alan Arca had came through there. I even loved when James Brolin had came through there, as he was running against Martin Sheen's character, as Sheen was trying to win a second term and everything. So this West Wing special on HBO Max, it's not a new episode. I want to stress that off the break for those of you that kind of heard about it and you didn't really read up too much about the particular episode. It is a reenactment of a classic episode from the 3rd season. Okay? And the 3rd season episode, I believe it was called Harvest Landing. And the gist of this particular episode, you've got the president, Martin Sheen's character. Basically, he finds out that there's this little small town in New Hampshire that has a population of 42, 43 people or whatever. And these guys are going to be able to go in and they're going to be able to cast their vote 1 minute after midnight. Now, some people go, big fucking deal. What's the deal? Well, these guys get the jump start to vote before everybody else. And what's really cool about this little small town in New Hampshire is for decades, almost going back into the 1930s, these guys have been on a undefeated streak in successfully picking who they think is going to be the next president. How's that for Groundhog's Day? I mean, so these guys are pretty fucking good. And so, Martin Sheen's character, President Bartlett, he hears about this town and everything, and he basically wants to try to put his influence on this little town as best as he can to try to make sure that the votes go in his favor and everything. So he actually gets in contact with, what's my guy's name? He gets in contact with Will Bailey. And, says to Will, hey, I want you to go ahead and I want you to do what you can. Put your influence out there. I want to make sure that we come out on top, because they actually hear out there that there's a couple of people that they know of that are not going to vote for Bartlett. They're actually going to vote for the other guy. And so you got that whole little drama that's going on and everything. Meanwhile, the president, he's just come back from a visit. He's got these chess pieces and he's playing chess with Rob Lowe's character. It was great seeing Rob Lowe back at the helm.
He's also playing with. Is it Richard? Yeah, he's playing with Richard Schiff's character, Toby Ziegler. He's playing with him. And as all of this is going on with the voting in New Hampshire, you also have drama that's going on with Taiwan, because somehow the whole stuff with Taiwan, everything ties into China. As I think it's either Taiwan or China. They're getting ready to have elections for the first time and everything. And, you know, it's not over your head. You just have to have an appreciation for politics, for one. And then number two, you would have had to been a fan of West Wing to be able to, after all these years that the series has been, there's been nothing. Unless you've been watching the reruns, you got to be able to kind of refresh yourself and be able to really get back into the gist of things. You got to be kind of like a hardcore West Wing fan to really be able to dip into it once again without any problems or whatnot. But what I thought was really kick-ass about this, because I remember the original episode, I love this reenactment a lot more, because even though the cast was much older, obviously, the way the cast members went into this delivering their lines, it was almost as if they've experienced in their own respective ways the weight of the world. During that long hiatus that we saw nothing of any type of reunion, nothing from the West Wing cast members, it just kind of seemed as though, even though they're now grayer, they've gotten more wrinkles in between. The weight of the world has really laid heavy on their shoulders, and they're looking at things from a much more broader, kind of mellower position. But the way the lines were delivered was just so And I love the fact that they took a shot, many times, they took a shot at the president and his administration without ever mentioning his name. That's the other thing that I had loved. And I got some notes right here. One of the things that was brought up, let me pull this up here. One of the things that was brought up here, as far as being a good leader and all that, you have a lot of help. You listen to everybody, and then you call the play. That's what President Bartlett says to Rob Lowe's character when Rob Lowe says to him, I don't understand how you do this when everything reaches its proper conclusion with Taiwan/China and all that. He's like, I don't understand how you do this. And he tells him. And the whole time he's saying to him, as he's playing him in chess, look at the whole board. Don't just look move for move. Look at the whole board. And he's essentially giving him a life lesson. And he tells him, he says, look, one day you're going to make a fine president. You are. You got everything in your DNA. You're going to be a fine president. But until that day comes, look, this is how everything goes and everything. So he schools him, but that's one of the things that he says to him. The other thing, let me look here. I like this part here. It's a government phone. I can't use it to intimidate voters. Make this election about smart and not. Make it about engaged and not. Qualified and not. What I cannot stomach are people who are out to convince people that the educated are soft and privileged, and now to make themselves feel like they're less than, He may be educated, but I'm plain spoken, just like you. Especially when we know that education can be the silver bullet. I mean, it's just stuff like that. You just look at the conversation that Martin Sheen's character has with Rob Lowe's character as he's playing chess with him. And then when he's going into the other room and he's playing chess with Richard Schiff's character, and that type of dialogue is coming out and everything, yeah, it's just making you really kind of be reflective of on everything that you have currently been seeing with everything in the world for the past 4 years. Also love the cameos. The cameos are really good too, man. Seeing Michelle Obama pop up in there, seeing Bill Clinton. A little concerned about Bill Clinton, man. He every time I look at him, he's looking more frail and frail. But he made an appearance in there. The guy that created Hamilton, he was in there. Great cameos, loads of great cameos that was in there. All those little cameos tying in between act breaks, letting you know the importance about voting, and also debuting silly little myths that's out there. Oh, my dog can vote. My dog got a ballot in the mail, and apparently my dog can vote. What the hell? How do people know my dog's name? It's a whole lot of cool stuff that they had tackled in the episode. It ran about an hour, 4 minutes long, and under the strictest COVID protocol procedures, they did their best to make sure that everybody that was participating in this special was protected at all costs, mask, everything. Only time all of that came off, obviously, was when they, had to be in character, share space, read their lines and everything. And they did this at a theater in Los Angeles that was closed off to the public. So it wasn't like people were able to go in there and, if you got a thing for Broadway plays, stage plays and everything, this is definitely up your alley. And like I said, if you got a thing for politics, even if you don't have a thing for politics, but if you've been thinking about getting involved in this election, making your voice count, because maybe there's some things that you're seeing that's been going on these past several years and has rubbed you the wrong way. It's definitely an episode I would recommend you go out of your way and check out when it's all said and done. So check that out. If you guys got HBO Max, you know what? Even if you do not have HBO Max, you never signed up for a free trial, it's worth going out of your way and checking out. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. You'll actually thank me later. Also, this is funny. I don't know how many of you guys are actually fans of the Beach Boys, but this is where a failure to communicate comes into play. I'm a fan of the Beach Boys, believe it or not. You'd be surprised what type of music I'm into. So the Beach Boys founders, they got surprised in a big way when they learned that the group played at a Trump fundraiser. Bullshit, you're not. So the Beach Boys founding members, Brian Wilson and Al Jardine, they're pushing back now after the touring version of the group, fronted by fellow founding member Mike Love, headlined a fundraiser for the president over the weekend. And in a statement released by their spokespeople, Wilson, 77, Jardine, 78, they told Variety, "We have absolutely nothing to do with the Trump benefit today in Newport Beach. Zero. We didn't even know about it, and we're very surprised to read about it in the Los Angeles Times." Wilson's rep told People he did not have a further statement on the matter. Love's manager did not immediately respond to requests for comment. As the Times reported on Sunday, the Newport Beach, California fundraiser featured the Beach Boys, the iconic rock band, once fronted by Wilson, but now touring with Love, 79 years of age, as its lead vocalist and sole remaining founding member. Check this out. This is where it gets really interesting. Tickets to the event started at $2,800 a person and actually reaching the peak of $150,000 for couples who wanted to be listed as co-chairs of the event. Yeah. So, and give you guys that's younger, a little bit of Beach Boys history. Band originally formed early 1960s by Wilson, his two brothers, Dennis and Carl, their cousin, and Jardine. And the last time all surviving members of the group performed together as the Beach Boys, you got to go as far back as 2012. And so obviously, the surviving members, they see things differently as far as political views and everything. Multiple times, Love has loaned out licenses of Beach Boy materials and all that towards the president. He has been publicly supportive of the president and his administration. Even asked the group to perform. Trump had asked the group to perform at his 2017 inauguration. So obviously you have a situation right here where there is a huge miscommunication. That's the bottom line right here. Yeah, and you hear this with bands all the time. People that used to be part of the band and now there's a different incarnation. I mean, you can go back and you can look at the Temptations. You look at all those incarnations of the Temptations that was running around. Or you can look at no, I think let's stay with Temptations, because if you really stop and think about it, there's been different versions of the Temptations over the years. The Dells, you could also go with the Dells, but you get the point. This is a case where you got serious miscommunication, because you would think that out of courtesy, one party would have contacted the other party and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. This is what I'm thinking about doing. I just want to make sure that you guys are okay with me doing this. Look, I gotta, bring in some money here, and, this is what's going on. Do I have you guys' blessing? And one of the things that I can't help but think about off the break is, all right, so what's going on here with the trademark for the band? What's going on with, just from all of that, from just a legal standpoint and all that, it might be time for Wilson and Geraldine, it might be time for them to maybe see what type of legal actions they can take, if any, going forward, to ensure that they don't be in a position where they've got to explain themselves to their fans because one member that is essentially representing the Beach Boys, but not really representing truly the core members of the Beach Boys with their political beliefs and all of that other stuff. This may be a case where it could get ugly. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make to you guys. I don't know if you guys remember what was going on with Stone Temple Pilots several years back, but you had some issues that were going on with STP and Scott Weiland before he died. I mean, it had started to get real fucking ugly. So I can't help but wonder if, with what went down over the weekend, if maybe now the surviving members in Wilson and Geraldine are now going to, okay, you know what, if this guy's going to continue to tour and he's going to make these little appearances here and there and he's going to be doing this for this administration, okay, well, obviously that name is going to have to be tweaked of his band. He's going to have to say something along the lines of, Mike Love and, whatever, Beach Boys 2.0, or, Mike Love plays the Beach Boys, or some shit like that. He's going to have to do something along those lines to make sure that shit's not rattled like it just was just now. And it's just a stark reminder when you really stop and think about it, man. Politics amongst friends, family members, colleagues, it has a weird way of bringing the best and the worst out of people. If you ever wanted to just, okay, there's a monkey wrench in this relationship. Talk politics, talk religion, talk sex, talk science. that usually will just fucking, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't know what it is, but that usually fucking does. I found that to be a fascinating story though. So you guys got to forgive me if talk of the Beach Boys is just a little bit over your head, but you'd be surprised with our audience, majority of our audience, they appreciate stuff like that because the majority of our audience, they're between the ages mainly 25 to 54. So this type of stuff is actually more up their alleys. So appreciate you guys that were able to indulge me there. One more thing I want to just talk about on a much lighter note, especially for you NBA fans. So it's looking as though Ty Lue is perhaps set to be the new head coach for the Los Angeles Clippers. You know, we had heard for the longest time they're the Van Gundy brothers and Ty Lue. Maybe even Mark Jackson was in top consideration of landing that Clipper spot there, but it seems as though all eyes are now, it's not official just yet, but it seems that Ty Lue is set to become the next head coach of the Clippers. Looks as though a deal has been reached for, I think supposedly 5 years, that he's going to be the head coach for the Clippers. So look, if that be the case, if it is going to be Ty Lue, who better than Ty Lue? Because look, not for nothing, but I've got a lot of respect for the Van Gundy brothers, especially Jeff. You want to talk about some of the best fucking minds in basketball? Those are the guys. And it is such a delight to hear both of those men do their commentating when the games are on. I love it. Normally, I don't care for the commentating. I don't. Normally, when I'm checking out, basketball, football, normally when I'm checking it out, for the most part, I will actually have the TV on mute and I will actually just be watching the game. I'll have closed captioning on so I can just kind of, if I see something that looks a little funny, I'll have closed captioning on so I can just look up and see what's going on. And if I really need to get into it, then I'll unmute and I'll rewind it back and listen to what's going on, play by play that way. But for the most part, I will just have the mute going and everything. But it depends who I know is commentating. If I know Troy Aikman and Joe Buck are calling the game, if I know Tony Romo, Jim Nantz are calling the game, I'm listening to what they're saying. I've got the audio on, it's cranked up loud. I'm listening to them while I'm watching the game at the same time. For my basketball, if I got Chris Webber, Reggie Miller, Kevin Harlan, the volume's on. If Doris Burke is doing her thing on color commentating, the volume. If I got Mark Breen, Mark Jackson, one of the Van Gundys, both the Van Gundys, the volume is on. So I don't just for anybody. I'm very specific. They're a delight, the Van Gundy brothers. They're a delight to listen to when they're calling the games because they give you such really great insight. But they are so many years removed, respectfully, from last calling or coaching rather an NBA game, that I can't help but go, okay, so do we really want to go in this direction? Do we really want to go here? And you guys aren't really hip to the trends and all that other stuff that's going on, and in a league that's dominated, mostly by black players, that's great that, and we know that the Van Gundy brothers, we know cold-heartedly, because if you're following them on social media, you would definitely know this. They are all for Black Lives Matter, and that's great. They have both respectfully been very outspoken about that. Very outspoken about that. And it's not something that is, it's the catchy thing to do. It's the cool thing to do if you want to look like you're in with the, these guys in their own respective right for decades, much like with the Steve Kerrs, much like with the Craig Popovich, they have constantly been, hey, where there's injustice, they have constantly been on that ass,
candidly, not giving two shits, speaking their piece about it, and not caring who they piss off. So they've been very consistent in everything. But, you know, two old white guys, you know, pretty much in their 60s, that's going to be coaching an all-black young team, not really hip on the trends and all that. Like, yeah, nah. And we're talking LA. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Ty Lue, yeah. Ty Lue, that's the way you want to go. I actually remember when Ty Lue used to play out here for the Washington Wizards. I actually remember that. I was so fucking excited when we had him. We had him briefly. We had them all. The Dwight Howards, Brendan Haywoods. We had them all out here briefly at one point. Yeah, we had him for 2 seasons. We had him in the 2001 to 2003 season. Ty Lue, that is, if I remember it right. But 2-time NBA champion, Ty Lue. 1-time NBA champion as a coach. 1-time All-Star Game head coach. I mean, that's a pretty impressive resume, and that is within recent years. At least you can say within the past 5 years, what has this man done? You know, and he is still very fresh. I think it did his mind particularly good when he stepped away from basketball for a little bit, because he was going through a little bit of health problems and all that. So for him to come back and, you know, he was doing what he was doing with the Clippers and everything, you know, that's good that he was chilling out there as an assistant head coach and everything. 43 years of age. You go back and look at, okay, well, his time as a player, you know, the last time that he played was 2009. Okay. But going right into coaching, I mean, pretty much 2 years later, he pretty much went right into coaching as an assistant with the Boston Celtics. So he's constantly been involved in there. He's got his finger on the pulse as far as the trends, understanding the mindset of where these, you know, young black men are that are on this team, or any team for that matter. But particularly, just for the sake of the argument, assuming that he is with the Clippers and everything, you know, he's right there. The pedigree that he would be able to bring to the table, we got to keep in mind, this is the same Ty Lue that had the balls to say to LeBron, hey, come on, LeBron, we need more out of you. What the hell are you doing over there? You know, this wasn't a case where Ty Lue was just all starstruck and he was just, well, let me not beat around the bush here. You know, I don't want to cause no strife. I don't want to cause no friction, because this is LeBron James and I don't want to, you know, no, he took it to him. He took it to him. And you need that type of pedigree with the Clippers. When you got guys like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, hearing all those little caveat things that's going on with Kawhi Leonard and the way he's got his little contract set up, trying to have his little girlfriend tag along with him all over the place, all this preferential fucking bullshit that's going on. You know, Ty Lue, he's got to set that tone that, nah, we ain't going to be about that. You know, this is how we need to be. Just think about this. This is the same Clippers team that at one point, we're out. We are checked out. We want out of this bubble. And however, Doc Rivers was able to do what he was able to do to get that team to go, okay, all right, we're going to stay in the bubble. I mean, you had serious dissension that was going on there. Let's not forget about the fucking lemon chicken, the lemon pepper chicken, Lou Williams. Let's not forget about that shit. You know, you're just hearing all of that. You going, what the hell is going on with the Clippers? What's going on here? And so with Ty Lue at the helm, he ain't going to be about that shit. He is not going to be one that, we can just walk all over this guy because, yeah, he's younger and he's kind of right there with us. He's one of us. Yeah, he might be one of you all as far as former player and all that goes. Not too far removed and everything, but nah, you ain't gonna be able to walk all over him. He's got to set that tone early on the expectations, what is and what is not going to be allowed. And this is somebody that I think ultimately, as far as commanding respect and all that, with the impressive resume that he has, I think this is definitely somebody, hey, look, I've been there. I got my rings. I could fucking hang it up tomorrow and I'll be good. I was able to play alongside some of the greats. Yeah. This is somebody that they will definitely freaking respect as a player and everything, the pedigree that he brings. So I think this is, if it sticks and it's official, then good. Then good is all I have to say. Still plenty of other vacancies that's available. And as far as the Van Gundys, look, if you were to ask me straight up, perfect world, just perfect scenario, Van Gundys, where do we go with the Van Gundys? I'll be honest with you, looking at what's currently going on with the Washington Wizards, Lord have mercy. I love Scott Brooks. I do. I love Scott Brooks. But I think the Scott Brooks experiment is over. Now, some people may think that's a little harsh, and some people may feel, Scott Brooks has just had a couple of rough breaks of seasons there. He needs another shot there. I think it's kind of time to maybe go in a different direction. I think the Van Gundys would better be suited for a team like Washington. I really, really do. I think Wizards, they would be better suited for that, for a team like that. But would they have the time and the patience as far as being in a rebuilding process and all that? I think it would also depend on where the Van Gundys are in their respected coaching careers right now. Are they trying to get to a championship in the next couple of years, or are they in this to, we'll do the whole rebuilding phase. We'll see what we can do with some draft picks, and we'll pretty much build from there. To be determined there. But let me say this in closing: for Mark Jackson to still not have a coaching job in the NBA, that is crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Something's wrong. Something is wrong with that in 2020. I wish that the powers that be, honestly, I wish that Adam Silver, and I love everything that Adam Silver has been doing as the NBA commissioner. I love everything that he's been doing. He really is the people's champion in the NBA there. He's a really good boss. But I really wish that Adam Silver would get together with all the owners and internally, what the fuck with Mark Jackson? What can we do to move forward and essentially give Mark Jackson a chance to at least be heard and interviewed for a position? I mean, can Mark Jackson at least get a fucking phone call and, hey, we want you for an interview. Can you do a Zoom meet? Can he at least get some shit like that? I mean, that would be nice, but weird. Just fucking weird. All right. So other than that, I'm going to stick a fork in it. We're going to call this DONE done. This show is in the books. I just hit the record button not too long ago. So I'm seeing that we got about an hour, 51 minutes. And when we had took our first commercial break, that was about 51, maybe 57 minutes into the show. So you guys got a nice deluxe edition tonight. So appreciate that for what it's worth. So gonna drop a couple episodes of Impact Showdown. That's gonna be coming your way. So tune in for that. Just wherever you get your podcasts, you'll be able to find it. You should have one that's gonna drop. I'm going to say you should have one that's going to drop Tuesday night And then this episode, audio version wise, will drop immediately after that. So that'll give you guys a nice 1-2 little package right there for the downloads. And then a few days later, we'll drop that Bound for Glory Go Home show for Impact Wrestling for you guys. Get y'all set up. I'll be back live with you all Friday after SmackDown goes off the air. Tune in for that. That should be good. We will talk SmackDown. And remember, by the way, quick programming note, SmackDown will not be airing on Fox this Friday. It will instead be airing on FS1. So, you guys that have never watched FS1 before, 9 times out of 10, you have it. It's free. It's part of your cable package subscription. You don't need to upgrade, do any weird shit just to be able to get that channel. It's free. So make sure you set your DVR. Because sadly, even though it's WWE SmackDown, the way the DVR is thinking WWE SmackDown on Fox. It's not thinking WWE SmackDown on FS1. So better to be safe than sorry. Check your DVR. Make sure that you're good to go. But this Friday, 1 week only, SmackDown will air on FS1. Same time and everything, just on FS1. But we'll come on after SmackDown goes off, and we'll talk a little SmackDown. A couple of little headlines that went down in between the shows. And we'll talk about the full card for Hell in a Cell then. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. And that is going to do it. Shout out to our sponsors. Once again, appreciate you guys. As always, appreciate you, the listeners, your support. As always, please, if you enjoyed the episode, you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, like, share, all that. It's good stuff, man. Till next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Take care.